Hey everybody, it's free to play boss starting up expedition number 162. Let's see what we get here. Interesting set. The Diana is of course a good. I'm not like a huge fan of the Diana card pool, but uh, like the big thing with Diana is her curve is so good. There's the Sketcher, the Dustbringer, and then the Gem Maker at 1. There's Diana herself, and the Elusive guy, and then Mountain Goat at 2, and then the Overwhelm guy at 3. Just such a incredibly good set of cards in a tight little package. Uh, it's just she doesn't really have any way to interact, and she doesn't have any top end. And so with these other ones, it is. I'm not going to draft Death or Thresh. This is a support card pool. I don't like to start with this, but I'll take it second if it pairs up with something useful. Also, it is important to note that with these Shadow Isles decks, Atrocity was added to I think 2 of the card pools in the most recent patch. And so just a note that they have a little bit more reach than they used to. So you got to be especially careful if you're playing against like a Trendemir or something that can get a big high attack unit, whatever. Like grandfather dude, they have that 8/4 spell shield guy now. There's a lot of ways that they can just close out the game from pretty far. And then here, this Disruption Darius. I've been wanting to draft some Darius, but just not Disruption. This card pool's pretty bad. It's meant to kind of pair up with Yasuo, and Yasuo being the build-around portion of this. I don't think the Disruption half is very good. Just like stunning our opponent's units for the sake of stunning them isn't quite enough value out of all those cards, and so really either need to be playing Yasuo or we need another stun to be kind of stun relevant card in the future. So we're going to take this Diana. Let me take a moment. I'll get her pulled up on the site. Okay, let's get these pulled up here. This is all up on ftpbus.com. Scroll down to the Luminous Dusk Diana. It's just going to have all the cards in the card pool here. And so like I mentioned, there's the really good 1-drops in the Spacey Sketcher, the Gift Giver, and the Dustbringer. Really good 2-drops in Diana herself, the Shade Stalker, and the Mountain Goat. And then Crescent Guardian is pretty fantastic 3-drop. But the things that we do run into at this pool is there's actual no top end. Cygnus doesn't really count. He's just kind of good at closing out games. Shards of the Mountain can be good if you have a bunch of elusives, but it also needs you to kind of have an empty hand to get the most value out of it. But there's not a whole lot going on here besides just being aggressive. So we typically want to pair this with another pool that can be aggressive, be that like one of the Shadow Isles pools, like this pairs with Nocturne, like the Nocturne that has all of the other Nightfall cards in it, or just something like a Demacia or a Bilgewater that can be aggressive but still has like a few like cards that can close out games, even something like Double Up and Bilgewater to just kind of get that last 4 points of damage in. That can be all that we're looking for, but this just it doesn't quite pair out well enough with any of like the slower type champions. It just I don't really like just taking a little light thing. I don't like just taking a aggressive champion like Diana, a slow champion. I don't know, like we'll just say Aurelian Soul, and then just expecting the cards to kind of mesh together. Saying that we'll get cheap stuff from Diana, expensive stuff from Aurelian Soul, and then the curve will just work out perfectly. We need things to kind of interact a little bit more favorably than that. So we'll be looking for a combat-oriented champion, something aggressive, or one of the support pools, one of the Nocturne pools. We'll see how it goes. But even Elise now, Elise would work out well. But something cheap and aggressive is what we'd be liking to pair with this Diana. Okay, well, there's the Nocturne. I think that's weird. What? They changed this? They used to always put the Shadow Isles on the left back, right? Because Diana is Targon Shadow Isles, and then the way the game works is you're guaranteed to see a Shadow Isles champion in the second pack. It's not guaranteed to be Luminous Dusk Nocturne, but it's just any Shadow Isles champion. So we could have seen a Thresh or a Hecarim or what have you. But it usually shows up here in the left column and not in the middle one. That's kind of strange. But nonetheless, we're going to jump in on this Nocturne here and just go full Nightfall. Whether or not we're going to try to build around Diana or build around Nocturne is kind of up in the air. When it comes to these things, I do tend to just prefer to build around Nocturne. I think he's a little bit stronger than Diana, and his flip isn't spectacular, but neither is hers. But when it comes to these, I typically prefer just to have Unspeakable Horror as opposed to the random combat trick. But we'll see what we can pull off. This starts out pretty strong here. With Blighted Caretaker playing extremely well with these value-oriented one-drops, yeah, I'm pretty excited to see this. Let me pull up the Nocturne here. You can see he just kind of has the other half of the Nightfall cards. Again, they're all extremely aggressive, and Stygian Onlooker, and with it was in the pack there. Is he actually a rare? Where is this thing? Doom Beast. There we go. But I think kind of like Doom Beast tends to be at the top end of the curve. So what I usually look to get out of this Nocturne pool is, there's additional one drops in Bark Beast. The Stygian Onlooker is the other big one drop that we're looking to get, and then if you're thinking to the other pool, we're up to 5 one drops that are pretty good. Bark Beast here, Onlooker here, then the Celestial thing, and the Dusk Petal Maker. All those other guys in Diana, they all play extremely well with Caretaker. We either get some kind of like big damage chunk, we get some kind of efficient unit, or we get some value before we sacrifice off that unit there. And so, yeah, the only thing I'll be really looking for that is missing between these pools is there's no removal. The only removal between these two pools is Unspeakable Horror, which isn't quite good enough, but we're in Shadow Isles, so we should be able to find something. And then I would love to be able to find some Neverglade Collectors. Neverglade Collector and Doom Beast are the kind of top end that we'd be looking to pick up here. Dusk Rider is okay. He does tend to be pretty beefy in these kind of decks, and he's good enough if you've hit 3 Nightfalls, maybe even only 2, since he does have a form of evasion. But he's just a reasonable way to close out the game. He's kind of like my third choice after it comes to Doom Beast and Neverglade Collector. And then, last thing to call out here is this pool does have Atrocity, plays pretty well with both the Dusk Rider and with Nocturne. It plays out pretty well with Rasa as well. But yeah, that's kind of what we're looking for here. This is just going to be kind of like an ultra aggressive deck. We're going to have to kind of go out of our way to find a little bit of top end and a little bit of removal. And then I do believe we want to build around Nocturne. His ability is just a little bit more powerful than Diana's. And she's a good fill-in if, say, we don't find any removal. If we run through the draft and we only have like 1 Black Spear, it is okay for us to just pick up, maybe do a 2-2 split, since these flips aren't super important. Although, I would really prefer things to just be 3 Nocturnes here. But I kind of immediately spoke to Nocturne. Before we run away, Tarek would be okay. He does, kind of fit into this theme nicely as to where, we've got our 1s and 2s and 3s from Diana, and then he can start to be our top end. He can give us some value by casting spells across the board. But I would think if this Nocturne didn't exist here, I would be more likely to take it. I think like from these Shadow Isles, I want like the Nocturne, or I want Maokai. And then if those aren't here, like if this is, say, like a Thresh or a Hecarim, I'm trying to think what other Shadow Isles champions there are, but those I would not prefer to have. I want these aggressive ones. If those didn't exist, I'd be happy to snatch up this Tarek, but I think he's just going to be worse than Nocturne here, and I don't think there's a lot of interesting draft components to taking the Tarek. And then this cloning program in Nivea, go for it if you want. I hate that this pool exists. You're supposed to be putting copies of Elnix into your deck or putting copies of Yetis into your deck, and then using Call of the Wild to draw them, or use Troop of Elnix to put a bunch of them into play, or you can make the 1/1/5/5 Yetis and shuffle those into your deck. It's what you're supposed to be doing, but those themes are all too much effort for too little payoff. This just devolves down into either a card pool that has Harsh Winds in it, or it turns into B, a Troop of Elnix deck. If you really want to, if you don't want to spend your evening at the casino, then you probably don't want to jump in on Cloning Program and Nivea. So we're going to jump into Nocturne here. See how this goes. Oh man, I saw Tiana show up and then it was with Bannerman, and I was like, shit, Bannerman's just 100% dead here. If we could just take Bannerman and just 100% pivot to Demacia, but no, we will not be doing that. Here, we're just going to take the 2 units. We'll like pick up some combat tricks at some point throughout the run. I don't see any reason to just jump in and pick these up. In the 3rd pick of the draft. And if it comes to being short on combat tricks or short on 1-drops, I want to be short on combat tricks. And so I'm going to take the Bark Beast Gift Giver here. These cheap units are just so important in these Nightfall decks, and that number one, we're wanting to be really aggressive, and having 1-drops helps you be aggressive. But then also, if we need to play a Nightfall, it's the cheapest thing that we can play to get a Nightfall going, and so pretty important to pick these up. Okay, interesting set. These are Targon. I don't quite want them. The card out of the 6 that I want is the Onlooker, but I'm not wanting to pick up Risen Mists. We're not going to have any Mist Wraiths intentionally running through this deck. Could be our first Pale Cascade. I just don't really want Warden's Prey. Like, I've gone on and on and on about all these 1-drops, but like, these are the good ones, right? We've picked up 4 of the good ones, and Warden's Prey is just not that interesting here. Then we could arguably take the Zenith Blade. The Protector is not horrible. I just don't quite think this is what we want to be doing. Like, most of our units, at least the ones that we like particularly care about, are going to be like the 2/3 for 2 with Elusive, or the 5/3 for 3 with Overwhelm, and we don't just really need this kind of effect to close out the game. So it's unfortunate with this Risen Mists here, but I think out of all of these, we're just going to go ahead and take the Onlooker. Okay. Interesting. Don't want Guiding Touch. If this was a the 2/1 combat trick, I would be pretty excited to take this pack. I don't want to be drafting Mist Calls here. This is something that is meant to be used with Wraith Callers, and we're not going to be pulling that off. This is a reasonable set down here. We could just have our top end be Moondreamer. It's not like we're going to... I shouldn't say it's not like we're not going to find any Neverglade Collectors. It's just not very likely. But I think... when it comes down to it, we should just be taking the Luminous Dusk pack. I don't really want these Invoke cards to keep showing up. I want the Nightfall cards to be showing up. So we'll stick to this card pool and hope to continue to see these synergy cards come through. Okay, these are fairly awkward. I do like the Frenzied Skitterers here. It's just a reasonably good aggressive unit. And I don't want to just stack up on these Warden's Praise. We're at 6 1-drops, which is a pretty good spot to be. We don't really need to go out of our way to be finding these. And so I'm just going to go ahead and pick up the Elusive unit with a bit of interaction. Okay, here's another Onlooker. Which one is this? Oh, this is fine. I'm not excited about it, but we rarely mess with this, and so it tends to be okay. I prefer it with the... again, with the Wraith Caller theme, since you can hit a Wraith Caller or a Mist Wraith and still get some extra value out of that ephemeral unit. But here, again, I think the Onlooker is the best card of the 6. This is still a moderately playable card. I would prefer it be Glimpse Beyond, but you can't have everything. Okay, this will work. Our first Crescent Guard with another Enabler, pretty good. I'd like to pick up Atrocity, but I'm not a huge fan of Scuttlegeist. We'll probably need to pick up a Scuttlegeist or something, since we haven't been finding any top end, and we do need to have something up there. but we don't have to go out of our way at this stage of the run. Okay. Here, again, another aggressive set of 1-drops. These are all fine with me. Love these onlookers. Arachnoid Horror has Fearsome. That should all work out just fine. Okay. I think we're going to get stuck taking another Risen Mists. I don't really want Tayari. We just don't have any ways to really take advantage of the combats. And so I think we can skip over him, pick up this Doom Beast, and then Risen Mists has a slight bit of value in here. It's never going to be particularly good, but it's still a fine surprise attack. And here, this is awkward. I kind of want the Crescent Guard, but I think the Skitterer pack is what we need a little bit more. We do have to pick up some top end, and it looks like our top end is going to be Dusk Rider at this stage of the run. The Crescent Guard is better than both of these, but the Guiding Touch is extremely bad. Oh, Rasa. We found some top end. This is a pretty safe pick here. We have all kinds of fodder for these Glimpse Beyonds, and then Rasa is just excellent top end. Hopefully, the game doesn't get to the stage where we need to be playing her, but it's pretty dangerous to leave the run with just absolutely nothing at the top end. This is as good as it gets up there. Okay. Interesting, because where are we at? Are we at 2 Doom Beasts? Then what's our Nightfall count at? These don't actually have it. We've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm trying to think of what the good number would be. Because I kind of want the spider pack down here. It's 2 elusive units. They're both pretty aggressive. But, we do have the 2 Nightfall cards down here. I think we're going to be good to just take the 2 Fearsomes. We might have gone too far in this run without picking up enough removal, but we haven't seen any good removal. We've only seen Unspeakable Horror and Vile Feast. But I think it will be okay to just let this go. If we pick up a 3rd Doom Beast along the way, I'll be okay with that. But I think I just want these aggressive, evasive units for now. Okay. Interesting. Here's the atrocity we were wanting, but I don't... one of the ways I tend to look at Withering Wail is we'll get in a lot of these combats to where, we're attacking with Gift Giver and Duskbringer and our opponent starts getting value blocks on them, and then we can clean out all their value blocks with a Withering Wail. But that tends to play better in more aggressive to mid-rangey decks, to where this is just pure aggression here. But I do also want to pick up this Atrocity. I think this is a deck where we specifically need to have 1 Atrocity to just close out the game, where our negative to the attacks weren't good enough to get through these big evasion attacks. So I think I want this, even though the Withering Wail is not going to be particularly good. But this is just such a good set of units, and the Onlooker and the Skitterer. It kind of hurts to pass on these, but I think our unit count is kind of good. Our spell count, just not. Yeah, I think we'll be okay without these. Without the evasive units, it kind of hurts doing that one. Oh, beautiful. That's a wonderful trade, getting rid of the Withering Wail we didn't want for a Blessing of Targon. This is just an excellent piece of top end. I would be okay to do this. I would like to get these Risen Mists out of our deck, but I think getting rid of the Withering Wail is more important, and then we want to hang on to our Atrocity. Cool. Okay. It came together how I like it. Oh, god. Hello, our guardian. I worry, friends. I worry. Can't be putting gambling into your app and running it on top of Runeterra. Okay, nonetheless, it's not our problem. I'm trying to think how much ones we want to keep. This is kind of awkward against. I think we want to do something like this, although Nocturne is just like so incredibly powerful. I think he's probably good to get rid of. We'll keep one onlooker and look for a better selection of 1-drops here. Gift Giver being pretty much exactly what we were looking for.
A little luck for those who need it. Be brave.
Alright, Nocturne came back to the party. Okay, we'll just pass here. We'll get in a big turn, a turn from now. Do you hit? Oh, these people, these people. Interesting. This is a pretty big hit, though. If the thing that worries me with this turn is if we go for this big onlooker play, and our opponent has like one of those 3/5 regenerate trolls, then we just kind of lose the game. But I think we're good to just be going for it. Let's play this thing first, so we have our Nightfalls. I am kind of interested in just running these out. Which one of these is ephemeral? This one?
Night flowers upon
Let's see what he
my
does.
blade.
Because technically now we can... Oh, that's a gem. Shit. I thought we had 2 dusk petals in our hand, and I was like, well, we can actually just dusk petal out this Nocturne. But I have to think that if he hasn't played a 3/5 at this point, he just doesn't have one. We might just be getting blasted by avalanche here,
Remember
but
my words.
doesn't seem to be the case. Good deal.
Fire knows its own.
We got our hits in with the
Burn!
onlookers. That's all you can really hope for with those.
They all scream. This
Okay.
is not the way.
That's all right. We
Protect
probably
and shield me.
we probably have to take that block. Then, interesting, because if we can actually cheat out our Nocturne here. Let's do this.
We were peaceful.
Because the idea I have is that we're going to play Nocturne this turn, that we can play Risen Mist next turn, and then just kill him with fearsome hits, as long as he doesn't add an appropriately costed unit.
Their scent travels on the night air.
Did I mess this up? I messed this up. Shit. I forget that these dust petals don't cost 0. That's kind of painful. Is it this turn? That's painful, boys. That's painful. Sure. Alright, well, let's see how we can recover here. Can't make the 4/5. I don't think that's quite necessary at this point. Kind of want to see if we can't get some baits and get this Nocturne into play. I think we're good to just discard Risen Mists at this point. I'd like to find the 0-cost Challenger. Didn't find, so let's take the Charger.
And here's where I'd paint my constellation.
Right, these would be pretty good units to be hitting with the 0-cost thing. Sure. This is going to be rough to come back from.
This'll take the chill off.
Just gaining all the health.
Her flowers bring the moonlight
Alright,
with
we
them.
can't do it this way. We've got the spell mana to pay for it.
No more hiding.
Let's get him in here. See if he's willing to just get super nugged here again. or if he's going to give up his faces of the old ones. I guess he can only prevent a handful of damage.
Bring me the calm of an ice-shrouded world.
Go, pitch beast.
Oh, I needed to Nightfall that, didn't I? Oh, we are playing sloppy in this one, boys.
Ice runs
It's
in
okay.
our
I still
veins.
had in my head that we were going to be popping him with the Nocturne, or I mean with this, so our fearsomes could get through. As it stands, like, what happens if we just attack here? Do we ever get to kill him with the charger? Like, he probably doesn't want to block with the shaman. If he does, we just need to be getting in for 4. Kind of like this.
Ooh, that's new.
Like, I don't want him just playing a 10-cost unit here. And I think, you know, if he, say, doesn't block Dust Rider with this thing, and then puts a 2 health in front of the charger, a pretty reasonable chance for us to get through. Here that's going to leave him at 5, so we can Vile Feast to get an extra point of damage in here. We'll have to see if he's got another healing spell.
You will never be free, dragon.
Beat Aurelian Soul if he doesn't have the life gain.
Me. Now they'll pay attention.
Prefer to see him like play a spell and then us respond with the atrocity. Okay. All right, so that was sloppy, but we should be getting this game. Okay, yeah, certainly not the cleanest win we've ever gotten. It has to feel bad whenever you're playing like that horrible like ramp card, because it's just so hard to behold, and then to actually hit it and still lose. Not to, excuse me, not to sound shitty towards that guy, but that card seems awful. All right, but nonetheless, here I do want these Nocturnes. I'm kind of want Diana's, because our interaction is so bad. If we can find ways to punt this Nightfall into Challenger, but you know, it's like all we have is Vile Feast as our interaction. But we are picking up a Pale Cascade here. These Nocturnes are just so powerful whenever you're you know, giving your opponent's units minus attack and hitting with fearsomes. You know, picking up what I think is one of the great fearsomes here in the Onlooker. So I think we're just going to continue down this Nocturne path. Our top end should be kind of good enough. We have the 1 Dusk Rider and the Rasa. We have 2 Doom Beasts, and so I would like to pick up like 1 more expensive along the way, but we don't need to necessarily go out of our way to get this one, although these are a pretty good set of cards. Okay, let's see. This keeps popping up on the screen, so I have to keep talking about it, right? I don't like fully understand what this is. Like, no, it just went away after we clicked on it this time. Excuse me, but it's like one of these things where it's like you're opening packs and it gives you the dust for whatever, like, random score thing. But I swore it had a thing on there that was about. We'll keep Gift Giver. Look for some of our cheaper ones. These 3s. I would rather have no 3s and a 2, so we can just try to get rid of these. Not the greatest, but the Caretaker is powerful. But no, like when you what an awkward start. Like when you look at a game like Magic, where they they had the anti-system to where, you know, you were physically playing, like to win a card from your opponent's deck every game. And then you look at a game like, hang on. This is awkward. We can play the Dustbringer and just attack into this thing, and if he wants to trade, it's okay. Not quite willing to give up a gem for this. How do we ever gem? I don't think so. I think I want to bank the spell mana so I have a better cascade on turn 4.
What do you see, boy?
Let's take this. That's okay. So what's his plan going to be? He's going to attack with this. He's not going to have a cat in his face. And then I have to imagine his follow-up attack involves a Warchef Greenglade Caretaker. So I'm trying to decide if I want to just go ahead and gem one of these. I think we do. Let's do this. Let's gem this.
Sapphire, gem of our divine
Let's go ahead and play our big 3. But no, it's like, so Magic was super worried about their game being considered gambling, and so they immediately, you know, well, not immediately, but probably as soon as they hired a lawyer, they got rid of the anti-system, and then, you know, you have so much loot box like regulation coming out now. 100% certain that's why Riot moved away from you know, the kind of pack system and moved towards this is easy.
You leave me no
hang on to this. We get a like great block onto his thing. Like it's kind of unfortunate we don't have a gem here, but
A morsel of regret.
like I don't want to just eat all of that damage, and then we should still send a caretaker into this.
There you are.
But no, that's like with all the loot boxes, you know, Riot didn't start selling wild cards because they thought it was, you know, a fun and interactive way to play the game. I mean, maybe they did think that way, which is kind of noble, but I'm pretty certain they were just trying to avoid a loot box fiasco. Here, there's no reason to not hook these. And so, seeing LOR Guardian, I think it's a good decision to put what seemed to be some type of gambling. Like, you were supposed to be like rolling on those packs and then betting your points on whether or not you would win the game. Something like that. I didn't quite understand it, but I'm pretty sure that's what they were doing. I would have to say that Riot, as they have, you know, whenever the set is released and they put, we're just going to go ahead and do this. If he has a combat trick, I'm ready to spend a Pale Cascade. We can either just play Risen Mists, or we can just dumpster this Dust Petal Dust. But no, like, as the, you know, they've you know, clearly actively tried to distance themselves from loot boxing and the kind of gambling type things. And you just have these people just put all this random gambling stuff into their game, or on top of their game, when they're, you know, what I consider to be partnered with Riot, when they've decided that you know, these are the people that get the set information before the set's release. Oh, cat. So, who knows? It's just that's just my opinion. Doesn't have to mean anything, but it seems fairly suspect to me. Let's get this Nocturne down, and this will turn on our Nightfall for the Cascade. Ooh. Sure. And I do believe, like, are we willing to just sacrifice our Nocturne for this thing? For the Jeweled Protector? I think we probably are. We don't have a whole lot of choice in the matter. We just need to keep aggroing through here.
No one was safe.
what do I know, guys? It's just my opinion. Okay, let's see how this goes. I'd love to get this Rasa down. It doesn't seem to be quite in the cards, but this will have to be okay. I'm willing to just get. We can just eat this for now. How greedy do we ever get here? It's like we have to say like on our. I think we can take that one. We're so close to just ending this with atrocity. Goodness, come on, buddy. Come on. one moment recording. My cat makes a decision. Okay. But I don't want to just add this now. But we're at the point to where we're not just going to die to it in the post. So I think this is fairly okay. If we just get this in here, glimpse. And hopefully draw some units to where we can get a bigger attack in next turn. Sketcher is an interesting draw. And then do we ever like just give up on this Rasa? I don't think so. I think the way we're going to go about this is we can play Sketcher and discard Pale Cascade. Or actually we should probably just discard the Onlooker, because we'll find a unit with this. Alright, I've figured out what we're going to do.
And here's where I'd paint my constellation.
We're going to do this. We're going to play both of these. We're going to play both the Horror and the Charger. This is going to get us wide enough to get in 2 additional damage. And then our units are going to die. We're going to play Rasa, and then we're going to throw Rasa at his face next turn. It can be moderately scary in that can
Ooh, that's new.
just get us with a deny.
Away with you, stranger!
I think this is okay, especially if he blocks like this.
What brings you here?
Or if he gets overly clever here. That's like... Okay, well, let's spread out the damage. This will give us options. Like, this gives us a lethal. And then assuming he, like, does something to kill our Crescent Guardian. Okay. I was like, we can either Rasa or we can Atrocity. Either way, I'd be kind of happy with both. Okay. So cool. Okay with getting rid of these Risen Mists. These Skitterers are pretty decent here. We're keeping our 1 Atrocity. Vile Feast isn't fantastic, but it is one of our few ways to interact. So let's just pick up the Skitterer. Frenzied Skitterer works great with Frenzied Skitterer. Pro tips. Yeah, you see? Reveal all. It gives you some kind of points. You go to the next pack. And that, like, I don't, like, fully understand, like, because I swore in, like, the patch notes it said something about betting your points on, like, the outcomes of your games. Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Here, we gotta get rid of everything. We don't have any ones. Alright. It's not quite what we were looking for. It's like I don't really want to just like run these no value onlookers out. But I think even if we're just able to get in for 4, that's as good as we're going to have to hope for. He only has 1 Twisted Fate. So we don't have to be like super scared of this now, although we do have to worry about a Make It Rain.
to take you.
That could have been scarier. I feel a lot better about my 1 health units now.
Stay back.
Whoa. Getting a brittle steel? Absolutely. That works for me. Awkward. Do we ever just want to run out Diana? I think we can. Well, let's actually just get this guy down. I don't think we can pass this turn without playing a unit. There is an argument for playing Diana, since having this be a big overwhelm unit is can just be more important. Here. This lets us. With the cards we had, I was going to Caretaker then Onlooker, but this allows us to get more damage in this way. But like, there is an argument, but I feel like we might need this to interact with here in the future. Sure. You got it. It's awkward to do this here. But I think we want to get this spiraling down and then glimpse beyond it. Sure. It's a pretty beefy hit this guy's coming in for. Is he just gonna block? Okay. Something cheap. Okay. Oh, interesting. So 8. We can do all that if we want, but we'd have to we'd have to open with Blessing of Targon, which is kind of awkward. I don't think I'm quite willing to do that. Or okay, so I think I want to just go ahead and get this down. We can open with a gem. I want to do it this way in case we draw something this turn that we would prefer to play instead of gem. Did not. This is fine.
These gems grant a wearer harmony.
I wanted to boost this. He's likely just going to block it with Iceveil Archer. So should have moved it over.
By
That
the moon's
seems
crescent
reasonable.
blade.
Ever scared of this thing? He's going to put this in front of... he wants to brittle steel something with this. I don't think that even matters.
Night descends. Face your heretic.
I'll protect the villages.
This doesn't seem like an ideal block when you're when you're facing down all this damage. It's going to overwhelm for 3. Okay.
Save the homestead.
Save the homestead.
Protector.
Okay, slightly awkward. Like, we're okay to just lose Diana here. But we need to be wider than him next turn. It's kind of the problem. And we so we do have the Bandit of Blessing plus Dusk Rider. Battle Fury. That's not just lethal, is it? Okay. Okay. This seems... Alright, I think we're okay now. Because you gotta take some pause whenever they just drop Battle Furies on you.
Find your path in the dark and follow no false light.
Okay, this would just be a pretty standard little to big attack. They'll want to be, you know, blocking our big units with this thing. But we put these littles out in front, so if he wants to make some kind of lifesteal play, he has to block the smaller
her light
unit.
across the land.
Right, well, picking up our third Nocturne, I think. How does this look? We're getting a Cygnus either way. It's Neverglade Collector with this Elise. I'd been considering taking Elise's, because I mean she's just a fine card, right? We don't really care about these flips. We're not getting huge value out of Unspeakable Horror. We're just, you know, Nocturne is just an extremely powerful card on his flip, as while we're mainly stacking him. But you know, Elise fits in here just, you know, extremely well. Her ability is good. She's a threatening champion. She has evasion. She's just like, as far as like raw stats from a 2-drop, it doesn't get any better than Elise. And, you know, it's paired with a Neverglade Collector. This is a pretty tempting pool, except the Fresh Offerings is just so bad. So I think we're going to be taking one of these Cygnuses. I think we're fine to just go ahead and take this Nocturne pool, even though I'm pretty low on the Messenger Sigil. Get rid of these. I do love this card, but I don't think we can like hold either, you know, A, with this hand, hold off on it, or B, mulligan it and look for something different. It's an interesting pickup.
We were peaceful.
Need to Duskbringer.
once.
Nothing like the stink of blood and sweat. Say your farewells.
Okay.
We will be free.
So I remember the Bilgewater, but I couldn't tell if it was Twisted Fate or not.
Coming in hot!
Is it too greedy to do this? Well, we're going to play unit and he's just going to attack, so we're never going to get this like Bark Beast down for damage. I think this is okay though.
Victory at any cost!
Still Bark Beast now.
Not done yet.
And I don't think we want to open. As it stands, we want to be getting this Arachnoid Horror down. Oh, excuse me. Yeah.
Ready!
Are we cool to just send in both? With the plan to Vile Feast this thing? I kind of like it. So either hits the hit or it's the supposed value block. I just don't think we're going to get any damage value out of Vile Feast the remainder of the run. The only thing that's awkward about this is if he opens with another Trifarian Hopeful next turn.
I am the great Marvolio!
That's another awkward way to do it for us. I think I'm fine with this. We'll play Nocturne. Get this thing vulnerable. We'll just take it down next turn with a Frenzied Skitterer. I don't think he's going to aggro better than we're going to aggro.
On deck!
Yeah, that was a hit. Let's go ahead and get rid of this thing, and then I think it sucks to trade Nocturne for this thing, but I think I'm okay with it. Like, I'm not sure though, like at what point we're willing to just like stop doing stuff for the sake of just trying to get in good with Rasa. She's a little bit far away. Like, we're 100% hooking the Prodigy with this. I don't think we can attack with Nocturne.
You barnacle!
Okay, that works.
Dead men tell my tale. Break their legs.
We're gonna have to trade.
You cannot escape.
For this, we need something. We can, I mean, we can play this Mist Wraith and get an attack in with it next turn. So he's not going to get to keep his. What an awkward ass set of cards. We're good to pick up the Duskbringer. We have, you know, like bits of value that we can pick up here, which I'm okay with. Of course, we don't want to play the ephemeral
forced us
one.
to choose death or the blade.
Okay. Nocturne Part 2. Don't think we
It's
want to
our
play
time.
Nocturne though. We'll save this for a higher value unit.
Nothing can stop me.
See what we can do to manage this board. We really want to just play Rasa this turn.
Charge!
Blast him.
You cannot hold us down.
Can't kill this. I think this is how we need to go about this. I don't think I care about this anymore. I want to get the
Their
Nightfall.
scent travels on the
Let's
night
do
air.
this. And we still have our 8 spell mana to play Rasa. So we'll take one of his weaker units off the board, and then that'll let us kill his Slippery Wave Rider with Rasa. Right, because this will be his strongest unit with 4 attack.
Final curtain!
You started without me.
Where are we at? We got 7, 8, 9.
Only a fool would enter
add
battle
this.
unprepared.
I don't think we're going to be getting Doom Beasts off this turn, but we can get big fearsome attacks in with Nocturne that he can't block. Kind of ends that plan.
The journey is difficult. These will protect you.
Okay, seems like he's not going to play anything here. Let's at least just get this stuff going.
Darkness.
Fine with. I want to get this off board. I'm okay to just block this thing.
No more hiding.
Right? I mean, he could have a might, but we're pretty reasonably far out of might range.
We will be free.
Okay, it's getting us close.
Your king has returned. Dead men tell my tale.
Well, Gangplank is a little scary here, but he is pretty low on cards.
I'll show him pain. Hit them all.
You spurn my gift? This
do
is
like
not
this.
the way.
Ever need to block this with Nocturne? Huh. Oh, it's going to deal 3 to. Oh, it just doesn't matter, right? Because we're gonna put the block in. It still just go to 2. Okay, well. Let's see if he can punch through for that extra bit.
Impossible.
To hang on to the caretaker. Okay. Ugh. It's a good Gangplank. Let's see if we just draw like 3 messengers in a row.
Explosives.
It's not exactly what we're looking for. Yeah, more units. Okay. Don't think we have a way out of this. If we can force him to block with... Oh, hang on. He's got 1, 2, 3. We can do this, right? We play Bark Beast. Then we use Caretaker to pop the Messenger. That makes him a 3. Then we play our gem on our Blighted Caretaker, and then he'll only have 2 blockers because this thing can't block.
They grow up so fast.
No reason to get cute with these. He either has an answer to stop this, or he's dead. Then we just die on the next turn. We don't have any way out of this after this turn. Like he's got something. Scrap shot. Yeah.
Sink 'em.
Do we have any choices left? Damn. That was an extremely good Gangplank that he followed up with there. Wonder if we could have done this differently with him so low at health. Oh man, and he's emoting. He's emoting too early.
Noxus!
It's too bad. I love taking these games when they emote too early. Okay. I saw a way to get rid of Risen Mists, but not for fresh offerings. We're not doing that. We're definitely not getting rid of Blighted Caretakers. I think we want to hang on to our Glimpse Beyond as well. Just we need some value plays in a deck like this, so let's skip over all these. Go away. Can't get that thing to go away forever. I wonder if I can find, like, yeah. It's on settings. The mini game. Alright, well. I turned off the icon on match load, but sorry, back to this. I'll have to Google search what's actually going on with that. I'll see what it says, so I have something to talk about after this game, assuming we win this one. Here, I want to start with Bark Beast. It isn't as much damage as the Onlooker now, but we'll probably be able to get a bigger Onlooker blast here in the future. Alright, let's get these big damage good boys in here.
Let the bloodshed begin.
Okay. We can technically just let this Blade Judge pop off on one of these and boost up our Bark Beast. I don't think I like that. I think I'd rather him just have to block with this Katarina.
Going somewhere?
It's an interesting way to go about that, because he's just guaranteed giving her up. So then it's like it leaves us with the decision if I think we just want to blast him for 10 here, put the point of damage on her, and then just Vile Feast her next turn. Cards. Okay.
This might.
So it's just because it's Katarina. That was a really odd sequence of plays. But we're in a pretty bad spot. I would have really felt a lot better if we got all that damage in and then just had to do something about Katarina, because his units are gonna very quickly outshine ours. We just have to add units here. We can't not play cards into this board.
Justice by my hand.
Not liking how this one's shaping up.
Oh, fresh soil.
Kind of like all in on this damage, but he's gonna easily, like he's gonna just play like a Radiant Guardian or something, or you know, heavy infantry, and
Come this way.
outclass us. Missing out on that damage was huge. But I mean, we have a surprise 3 and a Doom Beast, so we're technically, you know, like a surprise 5 damage we can drop on this guy, so hopefully it's enough, especially if he tries to say like Lancer our Guardian and we get to Blessing a Targ on it.
Sentinels of light don't
Okay.
fear the dark.
Can't play all 3. He never kills us here. Let's just pass and see what he does.
Another
Lucian
day,
makes me feel a lot
another
better
monster
about the
to slay.
situation.
Not a problem when you're by my side.
do this. Let's put a damage on this thing. Make it, I don't know, kind of makes it look like we want to block with this. Really want him to hook our Guardian with the Lancer. So yeah, if he's got, he can have a lot of cards that make this awkward. But if this goes right, this gets boosted, this thing dies, take 13. Okay.
Too damn soon.
Our open back is too weak.
I'm actually
Straight
here.
up just had another unit? That's weird. Why wouldn't he just add Cithria to the board? He has to have a combat trick, right? Did he just not care about what we did? We're just too short with this Crescent Guardian. I think what we have to do is add this stuff to the board, and then hope he blocks something with Senna that we can just protect with Glimpse Beyond. Right, we can't have this Lucian getting in multiple attacks next turn.
Primed.
He's got to get in with everything now.
The Guru follows.
This is certainly not ideal.
Moving into sight.
Do not test me!
Stand down.
Whoa! Hey!
Solution's got to flip anyways, isn't it? That didn't work out right.
No! My saplings.
That was certainly not the way to do that.
I'll
Is
sleep
leaving him
when
with
they're
his best
dead.
unit now. I missed that his. I just assumed that he was going to flip based on damage. We can get out of this one,
Let's have
boys.
some fun.
Night flowers upon my blade.
You're late.
Ugh.
You're early.
Yeah, this one's done. This one's done.
My gun does
Too
the
little,
talking.
too late, Russell.
You should have run.
Right. Damn. I'm not sure if we could have played that one differently. We certainly got outclassed there. We didn't have a good curve into a extremely good curve from him. But we could have always played that like Blighted Caretaker differently. We could have attacked down his elite unit. It's an interesting thing. Our curve was just a little bit too weak to take on a Lucian draw. Especially like this deck is fairly weak against Lucian since we don't have any way to interact with him. Most decks have ways to just like directly deal damage, but I mean we didn't even see a Black Spear in this run. Okay, sorry for weird pause. I was looking at LOR Guardian, and I wanted to see if I could find out more about that that mini game or whatever it is, but I was afraid that I would lose our thing here. So, anyways, back to this deck here. That we missed on all of the things I called out that we were going to need to find, and so that's just kind of like what I would expect out of this deck. I think these are both kind of like tier 3 card pools as to where if you get kind of like lucky with your run, you can certainly take it to 7. If you're on the unlucky side of things, you're probably just going to like end up with where you're at here. And I don't think this was like an unlucky run, but I think this was a little bit below average. It's just I don't like throughout the course. I don't think we saw any of the like the 2/3 elusive. We did see multiples of the Crescent Guardian, but we only ended up with one. We did try to kind of make up for things with the Frenzied Skitterer and Arachnoid Horror plan, so that we would have additional fearsomes to try to win these aggressive combats. But our deck kind of fell flat in a couple of important spots. Like we called out right at the beginning, we really need to be finding Neverglade Collector. He's like just kind of the best top end that we can find. Like the Diana deck has no top end. The The Nocturne side doesn't really have any, and we're not looking for top end in the sense of like Rasa. Cygnus is kind of okay, but Rasa is too expensive. We're really looking for like Neverglade Collector to help us close out that game. Maybe we should value Dusk Rider a little bit higher than we did, because we're just kind of missing that little bit of I'm not saying that we want a like an 8/8 for 8. I'm saying that we want like a 5/5 for 5 or 4 or 5. And so maybe Dusk Rider is where we were falling short. But nonetheless, I called out, our top end was going to be awkward. We really want the Caretaker Collector combo. We had the one Caretaker from like pack 2, pick 1, pack 2, or however you want to call it. And then we never saw another one. We didn't see any collectors outside of that one Elise pack. So that was kind of awkward. And then, we also called out that the interaction here is very, very light. There's just some combat tricks and then some 1 damage spells. And we didn't see any of the other in our wild picks. We didn't see any sunbursts on the Targon side. We didn't see any Black Spears or Vengeances or Grasp of the Undyings. We did give away our one Withering Whale, but I still stand by that. It's just we just kind of have this unit deck that doesn't have a whole lot of interaction in it, and so I think there's a lot here. I think excuse me, kind of like looking at this in hindsight, we should have probably like looked at our top end as being like 3 of these, maybe picked up 2 atrocities, and then just looked to finish the game with Dusk Rider Atrocity. But it's kind of hard to pull off these Dusk Riders when we just didn't see any of the 2-drop. Like, I'm happy with the 2 Doom Beasts. I would love to have like 3 Crescent Guardians and then 3 of the Elusive. And then I think that would be much better as far as supporting Dusk Rider and actually flipping our champions. So I think this kind of ended up about where we would have expected it. If we had gotten to like 4 or 5 wins, I wouldn't have been surprised. If we lost at 2 wins, I wouldn't have been surprised. It's just the deck can be good. It's just we didn't quite find all of the tools that we needed to make it a good deck. But I think we're still pretty on point with what we're looking to get out of this. Is that the Diana and Nocturne have like 5 really good 1-drops. They have like 3 or 4 really good 2-drops, and then like 3 or 4 really good 3-drops. You really just want to stack up on all those really good 1s and 2s and 3s, and then beyond that, you just need a touch top end, preferably Neverglade Collector, and then just a touch or removal, which is those last 2 things are what we are missing out on here. But that's going to do it for this run. I am going to take half a second before these rewards and see if I can't find what's going on with that mini game. There we go. Found it in the settings. Oh, this is there might be you want to call it a touch of a language barrier between the LOR Guardian developers and what's expected in America, but I guarantee you, Riot cannot support or be happy with in-game feature called skill-based bets. It's just I know from experience. Like I have no legal background, but I do have a lot of gaming background, and oops, sorry, I had to pause. Yeah, they're going to, in no way, shape, or form, if someone in the Riot legal team saw one of the partner apps have something in it called bets, they're not going to be happy about it. I don't know what the in-game LG coin system is, but as soon as you're able to drop anything with monetary value on one of these things, it's just this is going to get shut down faster than you can imagine. But I thought I saw that. I thought that was strange for this to pop up. I thought that was a we shall say interesting business decision in adding this to the game, because just I know from the Magic background and their huge worry with their card game being considered gambling, and then falling underneath gambling laws, with all of the laws now centered around loot boxes and gambling, and Runeterra doing its best to just get away from that system. The big worry now with Magic packs being considered, physical loot boxes and the flimsy argument that the secondary market is what makes a physical magic pack of magic not a loot box as opposed to a digital pack of magic, which is technically a loot box. And even looking at Hearthstone and the things there, I'm not 100% sure on it, but I believe in China or somewhere in Asia that you can't purchase packs in Hearthstone because packs are considered loot box based gambling, and you actually have to buy dust. And then for purchasing the dust, you're gifted a pack of cards and things like that. And so, with all of the monster legal teams that, Hasbro and I guess at Riot, whether it be Riot or Tencent or, the people at Activision Blizzard, and doing everything they can to keep the term gambling out of their game. Long story short, I cannot imagine anyone at Riot loves seeing something with the word bets embedded into one of their partner programs. But that's just my speculation. That's a little too long for that, so we'll just go ahead and skip out of that. You let me know what you think down in the comments. I think it's real interesting that this shows up and the amount of time that this is going to survive. But nonetheless, we can jump back. I'm pretty sure there's some rewards here. We'll give these a click, then we'll call it a day. Epic. Still haven't got to play Singular Will. I'm wanting to give that a go. I still think it's good, but it's going to take some work. Okay, and the last one. All new cards. Cool. But yeah, that's our run for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the run. Had a little fun, learned a little something along the way. This is Free to Play Bust, and we thank you for being here.